Hello everyone, my name is Renxiang Huang. Today, Jipeng and I will briefly present the final project, Speaker Recognition System. Speaker recognition is a popular task in the field of speech processing. This task is designed to match the audio to different speakers to verify the identity of each speaker. In current research, male frequency capture technology has demonstrated great performance since it is close to the human auditory system. In addition, vector quantization is a data compression technology that makes signal processing more efficient than original data. In this project, we implement a speaker recognition algorithm based on the male frequency capture coefficients processor and the vector quantization method. Here we have three datasets: non-student speech, 2024 student audio recording, and 2025 student audio recording. The non-student speech dataset consists of 19 audio recordings, all of which contain the word zero. The 2024 student audio recording dataset consists of 38 recordings of zero and 38 recordings of 12. Similarly, the 2025 student audio recording dataset consists of 46 recordings of 5 and 46 recordings of 11. In this test, we first played the training samples from the non-student speech dataset. Then we will play testing samples from the same dataset in random order for manual recognition and identity matching. For the non-student speech dataset, the accuracy rate obtained through our human auditory is 62.5%. Then we recorded our manual recognition results as a benchmark accuracy rate to compare with the algorithm to evaluate the performance. In test 2, we input each sound to MATLAB first to check them and plot the signal in time domain. The sampling rate of each recording reported is 12,500 Hz, and the milliseconds reported is 20.48 milliseconds. We apply the amplitude normalization to each signal. Here is an example for one speaker. In this step, we use short-time Fourier transform to generate the parallelogram for each signal with three different frame sizes: 128, 256, 512. The window applied is Hamming window. Here is an example of one speaker. According to the figures, we found that a lower frame size results in higher time resolution, but a lower frequency resolution. In contrast, a higher frame size results in lower time resolution, but higher frequency resolution. Here we compare the spectrum before and after applying the male frequency wrapping. As we expected, the frequency range is converted to 0 to 26 Hz, corresponding to 26 male filters. The male frequency wrapping preserved low frequencies components, while compressed the high frequency component to make them smoother. In this test, we combined all steps above together with the capstone to implement the MFCC algorithm. Capstone involves the discrete cosine transform, which is DCT, where C tilde n is male frequency capstone coefficients. The first coefficient was discarded from the results, since the coefficient only represents the mean of the signal, which contains little speaker-specific information. In this test, we obtained the MFCC vectors of the first three speakers as an example to check the clustering behavior. The dimensions we choose is the first and the second dimensions. The points in the central area are densely distributed, and there is significant overlap among the points from the three speakers. In order to improve the clustering, we trained a VQ codebook using the LGB algorithm. The algorithm employs nearest neighbor search based on the Euclidean distance and iteratively updates the centroids. It compresses the data into several important features based on the k-means. which can significantly reduce the confusion caused by unnecessary features and make the data points more structured. The field markers are the centroids of each clustering, which represent the features of each speaker. In this test, we trained our algorithm on the training side from non-student speech dataset, and then evaluated the accuracy rate on the testing side. First, we calculate the MFCC of the training side and generated the code books. Then, we computed the MFCC of the testing side and the distortions between the MFCC of the testing sides and the code books of the training side. The index of the minimum value of the distortions was considered as the prediction of the speakers for the given audio. Eventually, the accuracy rate of this speaker recognition system on the non-student speech dataset is 100%, which is significantly better than human. Now, welcome my teammate Jipeng to introduce the other tests.
Okay, I will continue to introduce our project. And firstly, I want to mention my contributions to our project, specifically focus on test 8, 9, test 10A, and 10B. By the way, I also finished the first version of our code. Starting with test 8, my task was to examine the robustness of our speaker recognition system when audio signals were modified using notch filters. These filters remove specific frequency components from audio signals. To implement this, I applied MATLAB's IR notch function, targeting a frequency of 60 Hz. The process includes, firstly, I will read and process each audio field from the test data size. Then I will filter signals to remove the selected frequencies. And third, I will extract the MFCC from filtered signals. And finally, I will use vector quantization to compare extract features with pre-trained codebooks for each speaker. The results were excellent, with our system achieving an accuracy of 100%, demonstrating strong stability even when frequency components are removed. In test 9, I expanded our speaker database by incorporating 10 additional student speakers from recording of the World Zero made in 2024 of EEC 201 class. Here, I used one recording from each new speaker for training and another for testing. Then I will extract the MFCC and build speaker-specific codebooks. Then I will evaluate the performance by testing against each new voices. Our accuracy rate have reached about 94%. The main mismatch observed was a single misclassification involved one student's recording being incorrectly recognized. Next, in test 10A, I assessed the performance of the system using two words, 0 and 12. For this test, separate codebooks were trained for each word per speaker. The system determined both the speaker and the spoken word by comparing the MFCCs of each test audio to these codebooks. The overall speaker identification accuracy was about 91%, with an overall word identification accuracy of about 97%. It's really interesting in this results that when we are using 12 for speaker identification provide better accuracy compared to using 0. Finally, in test 10b, I repeated this analysis using the word 5 and 11 from 23 student speakers recording in 2025 of our class. Here, separate codebooks were created and evaluated similarly to subproblem 10a, and we achieved overall speaker identification accuracy was significantly improved to about 98%, and the word identification accuracy reached 100%. Notably, speaker identification using 11 alone reached perfect accuracy, outperforming 5, which had a minor misclassification. In summary, my contributions focus on improving system robustness in Test 8 and expanding our data size and evaluate system performance with new speakers in Test 9 and zerothly assessing the system's accuracy with multiple words in Test 10a and 10b. These tests clearly show our system's reliable performance, adaptability to frequency modification, and effectiveness with different words and on expanding speaker size. This is our project. Thank you for listening.